Welcome to A-Zenith, where we explore life in Dubai one letter at a time. We're unfiltered, unapologetic, and authentic. I'm your host, Bilal Mohammed, and in this episode we're diving into A for advice. And I'm thrilled to have none other than Danny with us. Danny is the founder of Som Skincare, a natural skincare brand tailored to men, which launched last year, and Zenith Skincare Brand of the Year at the inaugural Zenith Awards. He's going to be talking to us about his experience setting up a business in Dubai, the highs, the lows, and everything in between. So thank you for being on the podcast, Danny. It's lovely to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Bilal. It makes a change for me to be answering the questions.
Yeah, we literally just filmed your podcast before this. If you haven't checked that out, make sure you go and check that out. But yeah, thank you for talking to us about setting up a business in Dubai. I just had to go through that myself with Zenith. So I'd love to hear your take on your process, because I know they change every time. So can you talk us through how you set up your business, the initial kind of startup was like?
Yeah, so I think for me, my business was more than just setting up in Dubai because there was a lot that came to actually setting up. For me, setting up in Dubai as a trade license aspect was super easy. You know, Dubai is based on convenience, so they like to make things easy for you, which is great. So I just used like a business setup company, which were really good. I mean, they do so much business that their trade license setup cost is actually less than if I went directly to the free zone that I worked
Wow.
in. So it makes it, and they do all the work for you and stuff like that. So actually, you know, the thing is with Dubai, the reason why it's so good is because it makes life so easy. I can't speak for other Emirates. I suppose like Dubai, Abu Dhabi, it's all one really. But when you set up a business, like for me, it was super easy. What was actually hard was actually starting the business. And the reason why it was hard is because there was a number of things that I had to get right to even launch. But as an overall, like once it was kind of like everything was done and in place, you know, Dubai made it really easy for me. So yeah, I can't speak highly enough about starting a business in the UAE. I think it's a great place and people are doing it now because one, obviously corporation tax is based on a certain amount of profit, and then you pay the lowest percentage, I would say, out of most global countries, which is great. There's obviously no income tax, which is also great for employees. They've just also introduced VAT, which was a couple of years now, but it's like only 5%. Which on the grand scheme isn't a massive amount. But yeah, apart from that, couldn't speak highly enough about having a business here and setting up.
Which emirate did you set your business up in? Because I know there's one thing I had to go through was choosing an emirate. So did you have to do the same thing?
Yeah, so I chose an emirate, but also I had to choose a free zone.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't actually got into mainland and free zone yet. So, you know, because my brand is predominantly online, my best setup is in a free zone. But the good thing, I mean, this is another thing that's great, right? It's like I've just set up in the UK and I got a license, and you know, yeah, you fill out all these questions and stuff, but there's no one there on the end of the phone giving you advice or anything like that. Whereas here, you know, I jumped on a call with these business guys that set up businesses, and they kind of guided me through, okay, what do you do? And then they matched me with the best free zone area for my business.
Amazing.
But yeah, they set me up in Medan free zone. So you've got a few other free zones, but Medan free zone seemed to be a good cost efficient one. I mean, for me, I'm not a huge team. I've only got a couple of employees. It works really well for me. But yeah, I set up in Medan Free Zone. They did mention about doing some of the other Emirates, but then some of the other Emirates are cheaper, but it makes it very difficult for, say, for example, if I want to have an office here or certain business activities that I need to do in Dubai, it just makes it a little bit easier for me to do it having a trade license in the actual Dubai Emirate.
So speaking of, I know you said the cost. Could you go into detail about that? How much did you end up spending?
Yeah, so my trade license is I think around 14,000 dirhams a
Okay.
year. I spend about 2,000 dirhams to get the VAT certificate set up, and then obviously you can pay I think I paid like 1,500 dirhams for somebody to do my corporation tax setup as well. Yeah, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I mean, look, don't get me wrong. Like, if you're listening to this and you're in the UK, you're thinking, well, I can go on to what's it called? Is it Business House or something like that? Anyway,
Turns out.
Company's House. That's the one. I've just done it, but yeah. So and you can pay like 50 quid and you got a license. You're up and running. You can start trading. It's a little bit more expensive here, I suppose. But then in the same breath, it's like, what would you rather pay? Would you rather pay £3,000 to set up a business and 50 quid, but then later on you're paying way more than that in corporate tax?
Yeah.
Or would you prefer to do it in the reverse? So there's a slight difference here, and I think you know, the reason why they obviously do charge like, you know, a business license of X is because they might not have income tax. However, you know, in the same breath, there are certain aspects of, you know, making stuff better here, and that they do that through business setup costs and all that sort of stuff. But I think the good thing is obviously in the same breath, they're obviously spending a lot on the countries and the Emirates and making things good anyway. So not too bad.
So why did you choose Dubai as your country to set this set Ansem up?
So I've been in Dubai now for 11 years, and Dubai's really helped me grow as an individual. So that's something that's like helped me a lot. I don't have any aspirations to leave. I feel like not only is it a great place to have a business, it's a great place to live. It's a great place to be connected with other like-minded entrepreneurs and other business owners, and you can learn a lot. To be honest with you, the only reason I set up in UK is because certain complications. So there are downsides if you're an e-commerce brand who's setting up in the UAE, for example, stuff like Shopify payments. Shopify payments for me is a bit of a ball ache because, you know, I can't display certain currencies in my website, right? So if it's set up in the UAE and I've got a business license here, I can't have Shopify payments because Shopify payments is only applicable in certain countries like UK, US. And I think it has something to do with corporation taxes.
Interesting.
I'm making assumptions here, but it all seems to be countries that have corporation taxes and are very established in that kind of world. So yeah, that's why I set up in the UK. So I can obviously have a site for multiple markets. And also as well, TikTok Shop is only available in certain countries as well.
Yeah.
And Dubai is not one of them. And if you want to do TikTok Shop, you have to have a license, a bank account and everything within that country. So being British, it made sense to obviously set up there. So, you know, I've got roots there.
Yeah.
My mum's an employee of Ansem as well, so she can manage the fulfillment for the TikTok Shop UK market. So
Love that.
yeah, but that's why I set up in Dubai. If everything as a business was here that I needed to do, like Shopify payments, like TikTok Shop, and all those other avenues, I honestly wouldn't set up anywhere else. But I was forced to kind of navigate that avenue as well.
Yeah. So tell me a bit about Ansem. I love it. Okay, I will say to everyone listening, if you haven't tried Ansem, please try it. I used Ansem every day for a month and I saw such amazing results in my skin and I can't recommend it enough. That's why they are the Zenith skincare brand of the year. Truly incredible. So tell me a bit about the brand. Like, what's the story behind it? Yeah, tell me about that.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for that. You know, I think going back, if I was to, like, especially now I've got a year under my belt of trading, you know, looking back at speaking to the boy that, not I say boy, speaking to the man that started Ansem, I was shitting myself about, first of all, there's stages to having a business, and depending on what you do, it's an idea, making that idea come to light. That idea then being able to be sold. Okay, when am I going to get my first customer? And then you get your first customer, and then you get your 10th, 100th, 200th, 500th, and then you just got, and it's just like, wow. But the story of Ansem was, anyone that's a man, you know, listening to this will know that we kind of get forgotten when it comes to skincare, when it comes to fashion. You know, if you walk into any like large fashion shop, and any of these main brands, yeah, the male section is really small, but the female section is huge. And it was the same for skincare.
So yeah, please, could you like go into a bit of detail about who Ansem is, what your brand means, what the name means? I think Ansem's quite a cool name. I guess it means like handsome, right?
Yeah, it's a play on words, obviously handsome, and also as well because our logo, for anyone that doesn't know the logo, I'm just going to show it to you right now.
Love that bag.
It's an ampersand SOM. So what we liked about that when we were going through the branding was it was a play on words. So when you put it in front of somebody and they're like, Ansem, oh, handsome. It was quite a cool thing because immediately when you're starting a brand, you're thinking, right, when we do eventually get to retail, how are we going to step out ahead of the rest?
Exactly.
And if you have that connection with somebody of like, oh my God, it's a play on words, and then they get it, they're naturally going to be a little bit more kind of like pulled into mine. My products rather than others. But also as well, it's like what I liked about the name when we were going through the phasing of branding and stuff was, you know, it meant something in terms of like, and some more, because we're not just any skincare brand. Like we really care about the ingredients we use, hence the reason why every source is a natural source and it's effective and it has amazing results, not only for aesthetic purposes, but also overall skin health. So kind of like those were the kind of two words, but like that was the two meanings behind the name.
Yeah.
Ansem was for handsome to get the attention, but then it was also quite meaningful in terms of like, and we go the extra mile, you know, when it comes to the selection of our ingredients.
Mm.
But I was using some products back in COVID. I was always using female products and I had a range of products. Like, you know, being a man, you don't really get that much selection when it comes to retail.
Mm.
So you're quite like, you don't have much of a choice apart from the generic products. And I started trying out new products and lo and behold, started to get a bit of a reaction. So I started to research the stuff that was in these ingredients because I've always had quite fair skin. And cut long story short, I just really came to find that what some of these ingredients use, how they make artificial scents, the preservatives they use, is not something that I would actively choose to put on my body. So I spent about 6 months just looking into everything. And, you know, with that, I would be like, well, okay, like if this is not natural stuff, then what is natural? So that would
Yeah.
lead me on to other products that marketed themselves as natural.
Mm.
But in reality, there was only like 10% that was natural. The rest is all synthetic. And like even now you see some of our competitors saying as natural as possible. It's like if your USP is not natural, just don't mention natural. Focus on what you're good at, not what you're not good at. Whereas for me, it was like I I I've worked for businesses, I've built businesses before, and for me this was more like I had to feel so passionately about this that when shit hits the fan and life is tough and business isn't tough like it is, that my mission and my vision was so strong that I would never give up. And that's what Ansem was in the end. So it was all very organic with the information that I had from the bad ingredients. I also found the good ingredients and I just started playing around with stuff at home. So I ordered a blender from Amazon and I'd make my own sets at home. This was all during through COVID. And then I started to see my friends afterwards and everyone was like, what have you been doing with yourself? Like lockdown was hard on me, but it looks like it's been good to you. And I was like, well, the honest answer is I've been making my own skincare at home. And obviously being a guy, naturally your mates rip the shit out of you because a man making skincare at home is not exactly the typical male. But long story short, after we left those ribbings, everyone's messaging me like, hey, can I get some? Then I started to have like a little bit of a customer base where my friends were like, oh, I want some of the products. And then we went from there. And then it got to the point where I couldn't just keep making skincare in my house. I had to find a better solution for it. And I went on a journey to find a manufacturer that would help me make this on a mass production scale. And then we eventually found a manufacturer that understood the concept, understood what we wanted to do. That was another hard thing about the business is, you know, manufacturers really didn't care about my mission or my vision. They just wanted to sell a formulation that had loads of chemicals in it. And that's the problem with the market is like, you know, there's so much bad ingredients in these products these days and they all come from the same kind of manufacturers and stuff. And that was hard, really. I mean, it took me about a year to find a good manufacturer and then eventually found one. And we went from there. But, you know, in the future, we want to be a one-stop shop for men's grooming with all natural ingredients. So that was a bit about how we kind of launched, really, and where the idea came from.
Yeah. I think you mentioned two things there that are really important. And the first one is obviously when you start a business, you do have the plans and the ambitions to grow the team and to grow the offering. So what has it been like growing a team and hiring people in the Middle East? Is it a difficult process? Have you found it's been quite simple? Tell me about that.
So at the beginning, I hired agencies to help me because I thought that was the way. And that tended to be a bit of a struggle here in the UAE. I know that there are some good agencies out there, but the ones that I had experience with here, apart from branding, who did a really good job on like the vision of the brand and how we wanted to look, everything outside of that has been a struggle. And that's when I really decided to bring everything kind of in-house, is just because I had so many bad experiences with website developers. Haven't really gone down the social media marketing side of things, but the agencies that I've come into contact with launching has just been such a painful experience that it's almost like a bad relationship. Like I just feel like I need like a few years of detoxing from agencies and trying to do it myself. Employing people here, well, the good thing is my team is freelance, so they're not actually based here. They're based internationally. With that comes its challenges because I've got one girl based in Asia. She's up working at like 6 a.m. She'll send me messages at like 3 a.m. But she's very flexible, so it's great because if we have a busy day, then we do our team catch-ups in the afternoon. What I wanted to do was, you know, I didn't want to limit myself with the UAE because with the UAE, it's great, but it's like, you've got the whole world to dip
Yeah.
into when it comes to talent. And why would I restrict myself to one location when this role doesn't necessarily have to be on my doorstep? I feel like in the future, as we grow, I would love to bring the team into the UAE and have us all in one place.
Yeah.
But yeah, but it's yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Employing people is very interesting because obviously as a founder, you have a vision and an idea. It doesn't make you good at managing people or managing a team. And one of the side things is like when you start a business, you're very passionate about what you do.
Yeah.
And one of the things I've had to learn very quickly on this journey is that this is my business. It's not their business. They shouldn't feel as passionately about me because they haven't started this. They're not the one that, is control of all the finances and all these types of things. They do this because they enjoy the job. However, it is a job for them. And I think that was one thing that I really struggled with at the beginning, because as a startup and a founder and stuff, you want everyone to have that same energy as you. But you
Yeah.
have to realize very quickly that, it's it's not always going to be that way. But yeah, I've not had, I mean, through my previous roles in business, I have employed people in Dubai. I find it's a very interesting place to employ people.
Yeah.
I feel like, it's hard to really, like, how I really employ people, or have employed people in the past as well, is all based on feeling, really. It's like if I get a good feeling about that person, I will give them an opportunity, because I feel like, hard work outbeats talent every single day of the year. You can have the best CV in the world, but if you really haven't got a graft in you, then
Mm.
you're always going to struggle. Whereas I think hard work can, that can outpace the talent, and you can kind of teach the skills to be better. But yeah, it's a very difficult place. Like, one of the things I say about the UAE is it's great because it's got so many nationalities, but one of the worst things, it's got so many nationalities. And what I mean by that is that there's some great talent, but there's also some awful talent in the same breath as well.
Of course. That's
So
like every
yeah,
country, I suppose. Even in the UK, so outside of Zenith, I also own a social media agency, and a lot of my team, like you, are international. So one of my guys works in Venezuela. A few of the guys that I worked with on my production team are from London, and like there's people in Dubai who do the copywriting. So it's quite an international team. But I feel like I really struggle to hire people locally, because you're right, talent is everywhere. There's talent all over the world.
yeah,
Like Luis, who is essentially my PA, but also my content creator. He is literally my right hand man. I don't know what I would do without him. And if
yeah,
I didn't have the opportunity to work with him, I don't know, I would have been devastated. So I'm so grateful that you can
yeah.
essentially work with people globally and have such amazing talent.
Yeah, and you know what, the hardest part I think about also recruiting in the UAE is, because I hate to say it in this way, but it's literally how it is. Depending on where you're from in the world is what salary bracket you earn here. So it's not actually based on talent. It's based on the language you speak, and how 9 times out of 10 the color of your skin. I've had some people come into my team previously which were British people, talked the game, demanded massive salaries, and delivered nothing.
Yeah.
Yet I've had people come in which were like from, certain parts of the world, Asia and places like that, and they were phenomenal. And they're like half, sometimes more than half the price of these people. So sometimes, it's, people will come in and just think, just because they're from a certain country, this is their salary. And
Exactly.
I think that's probably one of the hardest parts of having a business in the UAE, is that side of things. It's like, oh, I'm English, so this is how much you have to pay me, rather than I'm good at my job, pay me this.
So Danny, when we told Zenith audience that we were having a podcast with you, I asked for a call out for people to ask some questions to you. And
Okay.
we got lots of responses. And I picked out 5 of my favourite, which I'd like to ask you. These are from Zenith audience members, the wrong word. Zenith
Fan.
fans. Yeah. I actually really hate the word fans. It makes me seem like an influencer. But so the first one I'd like to ask you is, what has been the most surprising lesson you've learned about starting your business in Dubai?
There's actually lots of lessons, but the one lesson I would say is everything is happening for you, not against you. And the reason why I say that is because there's a lot of things that happen where you think, why me? Why is this happening right now? why are we not doing more revenue? Why are we not doing this? Why we had a quiet month? But it's literally just a signal to say, okay, you need to be doing X, Y, or Z
Yeah,
rather than going, I'm going to give up. I think, but also the hardest part of that is that social media doesn't tell you that business should be difficult. It tells you it's easy. It
exactly.
tells you you can earn $10,000 in a heartbeat. And unfortunately, that's not life.
Mm.
You have to build and you have to work hard, and it's a very thankless task at the beginning. And hopefully, I mean, we just made it past our first year of trading, which means statistically, we've done what most businesses cannot do,
Mm.
is make it past the first year. So I'm happy with that. But
Wow.
yeah, everything happens for you, not against you.
I love that. Someone else asked, if you had to start Ansem from scratch today, what would you do differently to make the process smoother for you?
So the process is always going to be a challenge because whenever you're dealing with humans, that tends to be the case. But I think what I would have done differently is launched with more products, because with men, they like a one-stop shop solution. And that's why we're quickly working on now, like coming up with formulations and stuff for new products, because we want to make it a one-stop shop for men's grooming. So I think that's probably the only one thing that I would have changed. Maybe, yeah, that's probably it really, is like we've launched with more products to make it more accessible, right? Because if people like come to our brand, let's say, and they don't want skincare, then, and they want potentially like a deodorant or something like that,
Yeah.
we've got nothing for them. Whereas now, as of kind of early next year, we should have that up and running.
Yeah. I actually have a really cool product for you, but I think it could do really well. And in London they have it. I don't know if I should tell you now or I should tell you like privately.
Yeah, tell me
But
privately, because maybe
I'll
some
tell
of our competition are listening to this.
I'll tell you privately.
We know the
I'll take
ones
it
that
offline.
sneak around me wherever I go.
I'll take that conversation offline. How do you balance catering to Dubai's diverse market while maintaining a strong brand identity?
So, the Dubai market is like, for me, I've got a very niche market because one, skincare, not all men are into skincare, but how you cater for that is you understand your customer. My customers tend to be between the ages of 30 to 60. So understanding what their pain points are. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, what country you're from, everybody is afraid of looking older than they want to be. So understanding that and then really doubling down on your audience.
Hmm.
And the second part of that is having a really good product. So if you have a really good product and you care about that product and you put a lot of research and development into getting it into the best possible product, that will be everything that you need. And then the third thing is making sure your product is known. So what channels, what places, where is your ideal customer looking? Where are they? Where are they online? Like what podcasts they listen to, what books they read, what shops do they shop in? All these different things where these people, you can actually target them, and so they actually know about your brand, because you can have the best brand in the world, but a known brand beats a good brand all day long.
Yeah. I always like to do something fun on A-Zenith, and it changes for every person I do a podcast with. So for this section for you, I've called it. What did I name? What did I name? Oh yeah. Okay. Start again. So every time on Zenith, I like to do a fun segment with all our guests, and it changes every time. So for you, I've made a segment called Mirage or Money. So I'm going to give you a concept, and I want you to tell me. If it's the Dubai Mirage, so I should leave it alone, not think about it, or if it's a moneymaker. Okay?
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So the first one is a desert escape room. So we take people in a jeep to the middle of the desert, leave them there, and they have to find their way home. Is that a mirage or a moneymaker?
Ooh, can I sit on the fence?
No. I had a clear answer.
I'm going to put that as a mirage. Yeah.
Okay, why? I think that's a really good idea.
It's a good idea. I didn't say it was a bad idea, but you're asking about being a moneymaker here, and I've seen some escape rooms that are in the middle of the city that are not doing the best.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So
Yes.
that's why I would probably say it's a great idea,
Mm-hmm.
but is it a recession-proof idea? And I don't
Probably
think
not.
it is.
Yeah. Okay. The second one is called camel pool. So not having cars, but riding everywhere on a camel. So potentially having a camel section on Kareem to take a camel to where you need to go. What do you think? Mirage or Moneymaker?
So you said to me if cars were no more, yeah?
Yeah.
So cars have disappeared off the face of the earth.
Or let's say, like, Dubai traffic has gotten so bad that you physically can't take a car anywhere.
So they opened up a lane for camels.
For
Yeah,
camels.
100%. That'd be a moneymaker, yeah.
Okay. I know they are, like, going to introduce flying taxis, so don't see why camels would be a bad idea.
Yeah.
Restaurant in the sky. So experiencing Michelin star food in the sky. Moneymaker or Mirage?
Mirage.
Okay. Why?
Because the food gets cold if it's up in the sky.
Interesting. I didn't think of that.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
And they've got a concept like that here as well already, where it's like and they charge an absolute like bomb for it. And I think to myself, all that's happening right now is you're lifting me in the sky in a crane and I'm eating some food. Don't get me wrong, it'll be quite a unique experience, but it's a one-off type of thing. I think for money-making businesses, you want people to keep coming back, right?
Yeah. That's true. Okay, Falcon Post. So Dubai doesn't have a postal system. Having a postal system that uses falcons to deliver letters and parcels. Mirage or Moneymaker?
Mirage.
Oh, why? I think that's my
Because it's
favourite one.
unpredictable, right? You don't know if the falcon's actually going to deliver the post. So just imagine all the refunds.
That's a good point. Yeah.
You have to get some serious insurance taken out, even if an insurance company would even insure it, because, like you say, who knows if the Falcon's going to know where the address is, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point, actually. Yeah. Okay, penultimate one: the robot cafe. Okay, so Dubai sometimes can be a bit isolating. Your friends maybe cancel or stand you up for lunch or dinner. So an opportunity to have a date with a robot in a restaurant or a cafe. Mirage or Moneymaker? Let's say you and I are planning to go for dinner. I then stand you up, and you're just there at the restaurant chilling.
Yeah. Oof. Now, if you'd have said metaverse dining,
Yeah.
where you can just jump on the metaverse and have dinner with anyone, I'd say absolute moneymaker. I think robots probably, I don't know, it depends how advanced they are.
Let's
But
say they can hold a conversation with you.
Okay, that would be quite fascinating, right? So, I mean, we do it with AI now, right? I mean,
Yeah.
AI I'm talking to all the time about different things and different topics.
Exactly.
So, I'll say moneymaker.
Nice. And last one, this we know you love skincare, and something you've only mentioned a little bit. So I have a skincare related one for you. So, sand powered skincare. So a line of skincare that uses Dubai's finest desert as an exfoliant. Is that a moneymaker or a mirage?
Mirage.
How dare you? Why?
It's too evasive on the skin.
Okay.
So sand on the skin. Obviously, you typically walk in it, right? But you see how your feet feel after walking in the sand for too long. All I would say is like put sand on your face and feel how evasive on the skin it is.
I will say, growing up, I used to make my own scrub with salt and coffee,
Yeah.
and I found that to be really coarse. But isn't sand a lot thinner and like a lot smaller, and not as coarse?
Well, yeah, it depends, but like if it's too invasive on the skin, it can actually have a detrimental effect.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say, yeah, not a moneymaker.
And that's an influencer dream. Can you just imagine the headlines and some partners
with the
Dubai
desert.
desert?
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you for that. You give me some great business ideas, so watch out for Camel Uber. I'm gonna bring that.
Camel Uber and metaverse dining.
Yeah, exactly. Bringing that to Dubai. And well, thank you so much for being here. Genuinely, really appreciate our conversation.
Thank you.
I learned a lot. Thank you very much for giving us your candid insights into Dubai, setting up your business there. Is there anything finally you want to say that you haven't mentioned about your A for advice? So any last minute advice you want to give to our listeners?
Yeah. There's a few things. First thing is fail fast. Because obviously when you fail, you learn, unless you're not good at failing and then you just give up. But don't give up, keep going. And also, if you've got an idea, just try and get it to market as soon as possible, rather than sometimes people can think they've got a great idea, but then end up like wasting time and getting kind of like paralysis on the idea, and not launching it and then always regretting it, then just learn from it. But and then also, if you do have a great idea, there is marketplaces where you can actually test out that idea to see if it's going to work, and if you get some good feedback from it, then it's a winner. But yeah, those are the kind of things, really.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for being on A-Zenith. And hopefully we will chat to you very soon.
Thank you very much.
And yeah, have a great New Year and a Christmas. And
thank you, Merry Christmas to you too.
Excited to see the future of A-Zenith.
So am I. We've got some big things in store.
Hey, anything you want to share? Anything you can share?
Yeah, so we actually received samples for a soap that we're trying to launch.
Nice.
Yep. One of the things that we did was we spoke to our customer base and was like, what products do you want us to launch next? And there was a few, but the overriding few that was like a soap that doesn't make the skin feel dry and has come from natural ingredients, eye cream, and then an SPF. We're also working on developing a mask, but that's going to be purely for professional services.
Okay.
We've signed up a few really high-end barbershops in the UAE, which are using our products as a professional service.
Amazing.
But one thing that they mentioned to us is for it to be really premium, they want a few more extra steps. So working on that, and then launching in new countries as well. So keep your eyes peeled. Really looking forward to like the year that we've got ahead. I've got a lot more confidence now in the brand because, we've got a proof of concept. We've got people that love the products. We've got people that buy the product. Our retention rate right now, Bilal, is around 35%, which is massive for e-commerce. And it's getting bigger every single month because people keep coming back and buying and buying and buying.
Yeah.
One of the hardest parts about this market is obviously our male market, and people are not really, I would say 50% of men don't really care about skincare. However, the people that are actually trying the products, are loving them so much. And you know what it's like as a man, you want something easy. If once you like something, like for me, I'm very loyal to the brands that I like. And that's one of, I say, our biggest successes. The fact is that men love the product and then they keep coming back to us because once they like something, they're super loyal to it.
Yeah.
So
brand loyalty. And I can attest to A-Zenith being incredible because I literally used it last night because I was like, I need to clean my skin felt really like grubby. So I used the face scrub, the charcoal face scrub, scrubbed my face, added the serum, added the moisturizer, and my skin feels and looks like amazing. So thank you for that. Thank you for changing my life. And hopefully I'll see you very soon, IRL.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, mate.
Thank you.